I kept thinking, if this movie was stripped of Bruce Wayne, was stripped of the bat suit, was stripped of the Batman name, this would be a forgettable crime thriller drama that would make $6 million at the box office, and we would never talk about it again. It would be forgotten in 2 weeks. But because Robert Pattinson puts on the suit and the eyeliner, and it has the Batman in the name, this movie makes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for what is essentially just a procedural, a standard procedural that you would find on any cable channel. So what is going on, everybody? Good to see you. It's been about 2 weeks since I posted a video. Everything Everywhere All at Once was my last review. So now I got a bunch of movies to catch up on because I've seen a lot of cool stuff. So we're going to start today by talking about The Batman. I don't watch a lot of superhero movies. They're not really my favorite genre. I've never reviewed a superhero movie on this channel. But to clarify, I guess, in my estimation, I don't think a lot of people consider Batman a superhero. Exactly, he's more of a vigilante. That's what I like about Batman. He's one of the few superheroes and franchises that I actually do enjoy that falls in the superhero scope. He doesn't have superpowers, he doesn't fly through the air, he doesn't shoot lasers through his eyes. Generally, the Batman movies aren't just actors stuck on a green screen looking like Spy Kids or something like that. I saw a hilarious meme comparing these latest Marvel movies, really all Marvel movies, to the Spy Kids movies. They're just not my bag. I love that people enjoy them. I just don't get out of them what a lot of people do. But for some reason, I do like Batman. I find his character, I just find the character of Batman, the idea of Batman, this vigilante bent on revenge, I find that fascinating, interesting. Gotham City is a dark world that has a lot of, I guess, similarities to the type of movies and genres of films that I like. It's dark, it's gritty, it has a lot of horror elements. My favorite iteration of Batman is, of course, the Tim Burton's Batman movies. I have Penguin here, Danny DeVito's Penguin, but so Batman, superhero movies are generally not my bag, but I'm curious when a Batman movie rolls around because, like I said, I like the characters, I like the revenge story, I like Gotham City, I like the villains. Everybody is just, it's grounded in reality, at least in a heightened reality where he has all these cool contraptions and shit like that. I just like Batman. He's cool as fuck. He's had a lot of different iterations, a lot of different actors play him, and now we have this new version, which is not entirely new, I guess. The grounded in reality Batman was done by Christopher Nolan very, very well, and they kind of attempted to do something a little bit different here, and in my opinion, it was quite a misstep. I was very bored with this movie. I don't think it was horrible. I don't think it was bad, but for many reasons that I'm going to get into here, I just found it to be dull and really quite forgettable, which is a shame because at Batman's core, he is a detective. He's a vigilante. He is out to seek justice and for the death of his parents, get rid of all the scum that's on the streets, but at his core, he is just a guy. He's a billionaire, but he's a man just like you and I or whoever's watching, okay? He's just a guy, and I love that. And in this movie, he was too much of just a guy. The pendulum swung too far into being just really what ends up being just a very standard procedural crime drama. It wants to be Saw, it wants to be Seven, but doesn't hit any of those marks all the way. So it ends up just being long and drawn out and underwhelming by the time we get to the end. I didn't feel that this movie had a lot of style behind the camera. It definitely didn't have much style visually. This movie is just dark and flat, and that's about it. When you come to I always go back to the Tim Burton's Batman because that's my Batman. That's what I love. But the city is a character. The costumes are a character. Everything is a character. Everything is heightened. And all the air is sucked out of the room. All of the style is just sucked out of this movie, trying to be so dark, trying to be so brooding, that it ends up just being pretty flat and pretty boring, in my opinion. I kept thinking, if this movie was stripped stripped of Bruce Wayne, was stripped of the bat suit, was stripped of the Batman name, this would be a forgettable crime thriller drama that would make $6 million at the box office, and we would never talk about it again. It would be forgotten in 2 weeks. But because Robert Pattinson puts on the suit and the eyeliner, and it has the Batman in the name, this movie makes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for what is essentially just a procedural, a standard procedural that you would find on any cable channel. I didn't find that this story, these characters, the story that was being told overall, the convoluted scene after whispered dialogue scene, it just drags on. And in my opinion, silly, campy procedural shows that you see every week on like ABC were more interesting to me than this movie. That's not to say that this movie didn't have some fun moments. There was a couple interesting visual aspects when Batman flashes up the flare and the whole frame turns red. That was kind of cool. There was an okay set piece, the car chase sequence, that was okay. There are a couple standout performances, namely from Paul Dano and Colin Farrell. I thought had they been a little bit better written, would have been great in another movie, but in this movie, they're just part of a bigger problem, which is just this movie being uninteresting. Not only does the movie lack in style or in set pieces, but the story at its core is just one scene of people whispering to each other about boring, convoluted mob shit that we've seen in 1,000 other movies, and that just kind of happens over and over and over again. I think this guy might be involved with this guy. We should go talk to him. Then they talk to that guy. What the fuck are you doing with this guy? I'm just covering for him. It's just, I felt like everything that happened from scene to scene is something that I've seen 1,000 times, which is a crime because this is a Batman movie. There's just absolutely nothing in this story with these characters that justifies this absolutely bloated, unnecessary runtime of close to 3 hours. I was so ready for this movie just to be over. I forced myself to finish it, but at the end I was just left like, that was it? That's what's making hundreds of millions of dollars these days in theaters. Not that these movies to me aren't the saving grace of cinema. They're not the saving grace of the blockbuster. They're not the saving grace of movies. I think they're a detriment. I think these movies suck all the air out of the room and prevent other better movies from being seen. I know the main argument from people who love this movie, who would say to somebody like myself, oh, you just need, oh, sorry there's not enough explosions for you. Sorry there's not enough people flying through the air. Nah, man, that's absolutely the antithesis of what I like in movies. There's zero set pieces in most of the movies that I like. I like movies like The Black Coat's Daughter and Lamb, which is a nearly wordless movie, or The Witch, or The Lighthouse, which is just two people talking. I find those movies far more interesting than whatever it is that Matt Reeves was trying to do with this movie. I think he did try. There was an effort to make a cool movie. But like I said, the pendulum swung so far into realism that they forgot the spirit of Batman. This, at its core, is a superhero movie. If you're just gonna make a crime thriller, if you're just gonna make a neo-noir crime drama, then just go make that. Hire Robert Pattinson to be a detective. Like I said, also, if this movie was just a crime drama, it would be boring and nobody would be talking about it. And I stand by that 100%. This movie is boring, dull, it lacks style, it lacks visual flair. If you're gonna have a movie with just people going from scene to scene, talking and whispering to each other, have the story be original. Have the villains be well written. Everything just seemed to kind of happen in this movie. Nothing pushed the plot forward other than just scene after scene of exposition. This movie really disappointed me because I wanted to be a part of the superhero conversation. I wanted to like this movie. I don't go into movies not wanting to like it. I wanted to like this movie. I love Robert Pattinson. He's a fantastic actor. Zoe Kravitz, she's an amazing actress. Not to mention that she's absolutely stunning. Okay, I can't say that I have a huge crush on Zoe Kravitz, but they're given nothing to do. None of the boring performances in this movie are a fault of the performers. It's a fault of the editing and the writing. I don't know. I just didn't care for this movie. Even though I just talked shit on it for like 10, 15 minutes, I didn't hate the movie, and I don't necessarily even think it's bad. I'm not even mad at this movie. I'm just disappointed. It's just dull and uninteresting. I've seen way worse movies than this, and there's way worse movies out there, way worse superhero movies. But this movie just didn't quite do it for me. The movies that I love generally, aside from the awesome shit that happened in the 90s, like Demolition Man and Last Action Hero and Terminator 2, all of those movies, I love those movies. But as far as nowadays, give me a boring, pretentious, elevated horror movie over The Batman any day out of the week. 8 days out of the week, I'd rather watch a boring, elevated horror movie. That's just my take. So no offense to people who love this movie. Please do sound off in the comment. I'm not attacking you personally, okay? I just didn't like this movie a whole lot. So stay tuned, subscribe. I have a ton of videos coming out. I still have my review of The Northman coming up, which it was my most anticipated movie of this entire year. So sorry for the delay on videos. I'm back in action and expect much more content soon on this channel and my other channel, The Dead Couch. That's more of my retro movies and collection channel. Collecting channel. So guys, thank you so much. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. We're done, Pete. That's it.